This is going to fundamentally challenge everything you've been told about nutrition. The essential carbohydrate is the biggest lie in modern nutrition. Here's the truth that destroys the entire foundation of conventional dietary advice. Your body requires exactly 0 dietary carbohydrates to function perfectly. In fact, your liver is a sophisticated sugar factory that produces all the glucose your brain needs. Your liver produces approximately 150 to 200 grams of glucose every single day through a process called gluconeogenesis. That's equivalent to eating 10 slices of bread worth of carbs, except your body makes it from protein and fat. The sports drink industry, the pasta companies, the carb-loading supplement makers, they're all selling you something your body manufactures in-house, on demand, perfectly calibrated to your needs. Dr. Cahill's landmark research at Harvard Medical School tracked what happens to blood glucose during extended fasting. Even after 40 days without any food whatsoever, participants maintained blood glucose levels between 65 to 80 milligrams per deciliter, perfectly normal ranges. How? Their livers were producing all the glucose their brains needed from stored fat and protein. The body is that intelligent. Let's destroy the brain needs carbs myth right now. Dr. Owen's research, published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation, showed that during fasting, the brain readily switches to using ketones for up to 75% of its energy needs. The remaining 25%? Your liver provides that glucose through gluconeogenesis. No dietary carbs required, ever. The Inuit people lived for thousands of years on virtually 0 carbohydrates. Their traditional diet was 90% fat, 10% protein, and essentially no carbs except for the small amount of glycogen in raw meat. Yet they had no diabetes, no obesity, no heart disease. Their livers produced all the glucose they needed. It wasn't until they adopted Western high-carb diets that these diseases appeared. Here's where it gets really interesting. Dr. Bishop's study in the American Journal of Physiology compared people on 0 carb diets to those on high carb diets. The 0 carb group showed improved cognitive function, better blood sugar stability, and enhanced fat burning. Their livers ramped up glucose production to exactly match what their brains needed. No more, no less. Perfect biological engineering. The pharmaceutical industry doesn't want you to know this because diabetes medication is a $50 billion market. Type 2 diabetes is essentially carbohydrate toxicity. If people knew they didn't need carbs, if they understood their livers could produce all necessary glucose, the diabetes epidemic would end within a generation. Dr. Volek and Finney's research on elite athletes shattered another myth. They studied ultramarathoners who had adapted to 0 carb diets. These athletes performed at the same level as high carb athletes, but they were burning fat at rates previously thought impossible. Their livers were producing glucose for high-intensity efforts while their muscles ran on fat. No energy gels needed, no carb loading required. Let's talk about what happens when you eat carbs versus when you don't. When you consume carbohydrates, your blood sugar spikes, insulin rises, and your liver stops producing glucose. Why would it make glucose when you're flooding your system with it? This sudden influx triggers fat storage, inflammation, and metabolic dysfunction. Your liver's glucose factory shuts down. But when you don't eat carbs, magic happens. Your liver maintains perfect blood sugar through gluconeogenesis. Your pancreas produces minimal insulin. Your cells become incredibly sensitive to nutrients. Your brain runs on a mixture of ketones and glucose that research shows is neuroprotective and enhances cognitive function. Dr. Mannen's research review found that gluconeogenesis is so efficient that even during intense exercise, the liver can produce glucose fast enough to maintain performance. The hitting the wall that marathoners fear, that's not from lack of carbs. It's from training your body to depend on carbs instead of accessing its superior fat-burning, glucose-producing machinery. The Randall cycle, discovered in 1963 but conveniently ignored by mainstream nutrition, shows that cells can burn either glucose or fat, but not both efficiently at the same time. When you constantly eat carbs, you lock your cells into glucose burning mode and shut down fat burning. Your liver's glucose production atrophies like an unused muscle. Here's the criminal part. The dietary guidelines recommend 45 to 65% of calories from carbohydrates. For a 2,000 calorie diet, that's 225 to 325 grams of carbs daily. Your liver can produce 150 to 200 grams, So they're telling you to eat twice what your body can make, guaranteeing metabolic dysfunction. Dr. Westman from Duke University has treated thousands of patients with zero carb diets. His results: reversed type 2 diabetes, eliminated metabolic syndrome, resolved fatty liver disease. How? By letting the liver do what it was designed to do, produce the exact amount of glucose needed, no more, no less. The food industry has convinced you that you need healthy whole grains, complex carbohydrates, and sustained energy from carbs. It's all marketing. Your liver is the only sustained energy system you need. It works 24/7, producing glucose from fat stores that could fuel you for months. Want to see this in action? Try this experiment. Eat zero carbs for just 3 days. Only meat, eggs, and fat. Your energy will initially dip as your body remembers how to use its glucose factory. Then, suddenly, on day 3 or 4, you'll experience unlimited energy. That's your liver saying, finally, I can do my job properly. Your body is not broken. It doesn't need carbohydrate supplementation. Your liver is a perfectly designed glucose factory that's been running successfully for millions of years of human evolution. The only question is, will you let it work, or will you keep shutting it down with unnecessary dietary carbs?